Have you ever watched the Marvel movies? You know, the most successful franchise in the history of film? Well, I haven't, but my brother has. So now it's time to watch them all, and we're going to tell you what we think. I'm Dead Panda, and this is the MCU Review.
So that'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Thor again. It's actually growing on me. I think I've actually I'm liking it more every time that I watch it. I've seen it like 4 times now.
Yeah, I feel like I went through that and then it started going back down again.
It's going back down. Yeah, there's like it's not a great movie, but it's just like I think what it is like you watch it and you're like, oh god, it's a turd. Or it's not a turd. It's average. And then you go watch like movies that come out today, and you watch it you're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. And then you go watch some more movies, it's like, hey, it's getting better. Yeah, you just can't go back and like watch a great movie and then watch Thor because you're like, what the fuck is this?
It definitely, if you've just watched Iron Man, then Thor seems a little substandard. But if you've just watched, I don't know, like whatever the hell just came out this week, I'm sure if you've seen the Eternals, Thor seems amazing by comparison.
Yeah.
But the movie does a lot right. It gets some things wrong. There are definitely some missteps in there, but
and it's kind of because I've only watched Iron Man, right? And then coming into Thor, Iron Man, it takes a lot more buying in than or Thor takes a lot more buying in than Iron Man does because of the different worlds, and there's just so much world building type stuff that they try to get going. Is a lot. It's just a lot. Like they never really do get into like they only introduce you to like a very small amount of people in the world because it's like how much they can't. There's already so much going on. They can't just keep making the casket bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Stark is a good one to start with. I think if you're trying to launch something, because he is just basically a real dude. We can buy into Tony. I mean, like, yes, he's absurdly wealthy and absurdly intelligent, but basically he is just a real guy in the real world. And then immediately the next character we're introduced to is Thor, who's like a magical space god. And
is there another, because I don't know that much about it, is there another character that is that far of a leap? Is he the farthest leap?
Doctor Strange is a little weird, but then again, he starts as a normal guy and he becomes a wizard. The Guardians of the Galaxy, that's space stuff, but
That's true. I have seen those. Or I've seen the first one.
I don't know. Now that's a really good question. Now that you ask it, I don't know that any more of the Avengers are as hard to wrap your head around as Thor, because he's sort of walking a line between, and in this movie it's not clear at all. Is he a god or is he just an alien? Is there a big difference between the two?
Yeah, that's true.
See, it's no, honestly, off the top of my head, I think the Thor shit is probably Asgard and Loki and Odin and all of that stuff, and the Bifrost is probably about as weird and abstract as the MCU gets. I mean, everything else they do in space is very grounded in, like, this is a spaceship and these are lasers and this is a space pirate. It's very, everything is just science fiction, science fiction, science fiction.
Yeah.
But with Thor, it's like he's almost entirely magic. He's just sort of technically an alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre. They don't, and so those two, like the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, they don't ever really kind of explain, like whenever they're in outer space, like he's not going to like Alfheim or anything like that, like in Guardians of the Galaxy. They just don't really ever talk about it.
Now that again, you're stumping me here. I'm sitting around. It's like he has that scene where he tries to explain to her like what the 9 realms are.
Right.
It seems like he's calling them planets.
Yeah.
But there have to be way more than 9 planets.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
None of the planets he's talking about, he calls them all, the Norse realms, and if you've played God of War, you're familiar with a few, like, Muspelheim and Jotunheim and Alfheim. He talks
Yeah.
about Yggdrasil, the World Tree. But like, as soon as some of these movies start taking place in outer space, we don't see any of those places. At least I don't,
Yeah.
unless he's calling some other.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, do you think it was just, is it even mentioned in the other Thor movies much? Because it kind of makes me think like maybe that was, they had to have her and him meet somehow. So it's like she can't, I guess she could have been like studying mythology or something, but it was just a good way to have her out, like looking at the sky, and he comes from the sky, and it's just a quick way to like make a meet or something.
Yeah.
More convenient than it is for the story.
Maybe. I'm not really familiar with Thor comic books. I don't know Jane Foster's backstory, if this is something straight from comics or if it was made up for the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of works, and I guess to explain it, I guess the way I understand it is Asgard is just a very weird flat planet, peopled by a very powerful race of aliens that for some reason control 9 planets that they call the 9 realms, and they stopped at 9 and they stopped conquering at 9.
Oh, okay. So they're kind of like they're kind of guarding everything and trying to keep the peace in between everybody.
It's like they're the custodians, the guardians of these particular worlds.
Yeah.
But it does make you wonder how far into space does is
Yeah, is
there,
there more stuff going on out there?
like, where is Jotunheim? Like, if you wanted to draw like on a galaxy map, like Jotunheim and Earth and Asgard, because we see all 3 of those planets, I guess, in this movie. Like, exactly, are they even in the same galaxy?
Yeah.
How far apart are they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird.
Sort of localized? Did Asgard just stretch out and like conquer or control the 9 closest planets?
Right. Yeah, they have to be relevant to each other in some way. Because
Some,
why would they have just picked those 9 at random?
like 9 random planets throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
Strange. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
not,
true.
and
And isn't one of them like hell and heaven and
I mean,
or an afterworld or something?
we don't really even because Thor never even gets around to explaining all of them. They kind of cut the conversation off midway because how is he supposed to explain Helheim? Like, where the hell is, like, which planet do they call Hell? Is this just
Right.
where Asgardians transport people they don't like?
Yeah.
They can suffer and die and freeze to death forever. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
how much worse could it be than Jotunheim?
Yeah, that's true. Jotunheim's a shithole. Oh my god. Those guys are fucking miserable as shit.
You kind of understand why they're so angry.
Yeah.
They live.
Yeah. And no one like they don't have any like crazy like infrastructure or anything. They're just sitting like on the side of the mountain just mad as hell about something.
Stewing about just like losing a war, God knows how many thousand years ago. Just
Yeah.
sitting there, bunch of bitches.
Yeah, they are. You wouldn't want to invite them to a party.
No, uh, you know, this is a weird thought, but like, frost giant shit will just peel the wallpaper off.
Oh my God. Yeah. It'd be
You
awful. Jesus.
don't want to use the bathroom after, you don't want to use the bathroom after Laufey.
No, definitely not.
After he takes
Yeah.
a
Yeah. What the hell do they eat?
just
There's
they just
nothing. They just eat rocks and ice.
just eating frozen rocks and leaving a Laufey loaf.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
Uh,
it's miserable.
yeah, but I mean, the movie is. I think it was an iffy choice for a like Iron Man 2, and then we followed up with Thor a lot. And I know the movie made money, but like this, there are moments in this movie where it starts to skirt, and as you're watching it, you're just like, is this movie gonna fall apart?
Yeah, that's very true.
It
That's
starts
very true.
a moment or two where it starts to tilt, and you're just like, this whole thing could fall apart at any moment. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
there is like a 5-minute section of the movie where Thor just keeps getting incapacitated. It's just over and over and over. He's like hit by a truck, and then he's tased, and then he gets a shot in his butt, and then she hits him with a truck, and it's like, what is happening? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
That's true. That's true. It's over and over again. He just keeps
It's
losing
like he's
consciousness.
gonna have brain damage by the time this is over.
I mean, but that was one thing. The movie opens up and we get like this big well, it opens on, we do like a weird show us something in the middle and then flash back. Like we don't really understand what's going on, but the scientists are, we got Kat Dennings and Bill Skarsgård. I can't remember. It's Skarsgård, but I can't remember his first name. And Natalie Portman are all.
Is it the old creep guy?
Yeah.
Like her
And,
father figure type guy?
yeah.
He's crazy in this movie. I like him though.
He almost steals the movie.
He really does. He's
He's got
monotone and just scary as shit.
It's the tales I grew up with, Jane.
Yeah. He's a fucking psychopath.
He's so dire. Like there's
Yeah.
so
Like
much
in no world is a woman gonna listen to him and not go with Thor. Like how does he seem like a reasonable choice? You know what I mean? He's fucking insane.
but Thor lands and then like they have to tase him, which is immediately the first thing we see happen. No, he just gets hit by the car. The first thing we see happen to Thor is he gets hit by a car and wiped out.
Yeah.
And then we flash back to his, thousands of years ago, and the frost giants are assholes, and they're like freezing people, and we get
And
all this.
isn't Anthony Hopkins like narrating it?
Yes,
And he
yes.
kills it.
If you're gonna hire Anthony Hopkins to narrate, I mean, there's worse things he could do for your movie.
Yeah.
Do that really well, and he is great as Odin.
Yeah, he is.
They kind of help you. You don't wrap your head around it like very specifically, but you kind of feel like Odin's strengths and power. You kind of get the idea that all the powerful creatures in this movie, Odin is like a step above. Like you
Yeah.
get, he is
Yeah.
strong. He's stronger than either Thor or Loki, and you can kind of feel it.
Yeah, it's very true.
But one of the first things that happens in the movie is some like frost giants try to steal that ice thing.
Yeah, the Kool-Aid or whatever it is.
Then Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still comes out of a fucking wall and just burns him to death.
Yeah, that thing I didn't understand at all the first time I watched the movie. I didn't even get that later on that suit thing was what popped out of the cabinet and killed him. Like I didn't make the connection at all. Because it's just there for a second. It just comes out like burp, and then you don't see it again until the end of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they really needed Thor to be able to kill something. Like he has to have a big fight at the end of the movie, and I think there were probably some alternate versions of this movie that didn't even have that thing in it.
Yeah,
The thing's not
it's cool.
Yeah, because you could just replace it with like I don't know, Odin or Thor killing the frost giants, and it's over. And
Yeah,
later in the movie, when the thing does attack Thor, it almost doesn't make sense why like Loki's hatching a lot of very crucial elements of his plan all at the exact same time.
yeah. His plan seems less intelligent every time I watch it. It just seems more complicated than it needed to be.
It's like it seems like there was a smart idea there, but then there were like some action beats missing, or they wanted him to seem more evil. He has
Yeah,
to directly try to kill Thor at some point. I don't know. But when they go into the Frost Giants planet, like Thor's about to become king, they mess up his coronation. They go to the Frost Giant planet. Oh, before we get to that, we introduce some of the worst looking, most ridiculous, half-assed characters in any movie
That's
ever.
very true.
I
That's
can't stand.
very true.
Maybe these people are really cool in the comic books or whatever. I have no idea. I've never read
Right, but if you've just seen the movie, then they're weak as shit.
who. I don't even know. I've watched the movie at least 5 times in the last 2 weeks. I don't know what their names are.
I don't either.
I know it's Lady Sylph or Sylvie or something, and the Warriors 3.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, the Warriors Three's their names are Asian Guy, Mustache, and Beardo.
Oh, yeah. Beardo, yeah.
I don't know their names. It's
Yeah. Yeah, hungry, hungry, stabby, and
and
yeah,
karate. I
yeah.
don't know.
I noticed her accent changes as the movie goes on. I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
Yeah, that's just inconsistent.
Yeah,
But they go to the Frost planet and they're talking, and we meet Laufey, who's like king of the Frost Giants. And it's really weird because while they're on the planet, it definitely seems like, okay, these are monsters, these are aliens. This is going to be important. These guys are going to be like the villains of the story. They're going to be like reoccurring. And it's sort of a red herring, or it's sort of, I don't know if it's an intentional misdirect or if it's just like, we kind of need to know that frost giants are a thing.
yeah. I felt the exact same way when I watched it. The first time, I was so confused about. I just thought that was it with them. I was like, well, that's over now, and I was like, that's not gonna. They're not coming back. You know, it didn't seem relevant to the story.
Because they abandon it immediately. They don't go back to it for a while, and Thor just destroys them. Like they seem super weak by comparison to him.
That's true. They never really seem like a threat. Like they never really do seem to pose a threat. Loki
Yeah,
seems to be the threat. By that point, by the time that they seem to pose a threat, you know that Loki's the real threat. And
yeah,
then Loki kills them anyway. So it's really fucking confusing.
yeah. And it's illustrated to us in the first few minutes. This is one thing the movie does right. In this first action sequence, it's kind of illustrated to us that Thor is invincible. Like he's basically like he really is a god. There's
Yeah,
nothing to hurt him.
he's head and shoulders above all those guys.
It's like he's invulnerable. He has super strength. He's doing that spinny thing where he's just like chucking up ice.
Yeah, it's cool as shit, really. They did every cool thing you could think of with the fucking hammer. They got them
He's,
all in there.
he's like improving. He's like, what else can I do with this thing? I wonder if this works.
Yeah, yeah,
Chucking ice at them. Um, and he's just smashing them to bits. But the whole thing really is Thor's fault. Like he really does
yeah. Loki
provoke.
has a point about everything.
He does.
Thor really is dumb in the beginning.
So I mean, the movie is sort of slower, and like apart from this bit in the beginning, this bit at the end, there's not a lot of extravagant action in the movie, but you kind of have to. Once you illustrate to us that he's invincible, it's very logical for the next step to be, well, the plot of the movie has to be he loses his invulnerability. He's too strong, he's too invulnerable, he has to be weakened. He has to be just like a normal person for us to feel any threat in
Yeah,
regard at all, because he's just too strong.
yeah,
Uh, unless you're gonna, you know, introduce someone who's even stronger. Uh, but you're right. Like Loki does have a good point, and at first, it's he's so arch. It's a little easy to tell he's evil,
yeah,
but everything he does makes sense, and you almost get the feeling like he doesn't even know why he's doing it. He's just it's like he's what starts as like fun sort of becomes this plan as it's going.
yeah.
It's like as he's finding things out, because when the frost giant grabs him, his hand turns blue and it doesn't
Right,
hurt him.
right.
And he's sort of when he finds out he's a frost giant, that like that's a third of the way into the movie, and it like warps his whole perceptions. Like he's different after that.
What's funny is the first time I watched it, I saw that his arm turned blue, but I thought that's just what happened when they touched you. And then he turned around and he was a fucking ice guy. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't understand that he was like one of them or something. Because
Yeah,
they're like, don't let it touch you, and then it touches him. He turns blue. I'm like, oh god, if they touch you, you turn blue for a second.
yeah. But it's like it burns the other guy when it touches him, but
Yeah,
Loki's fine. It just
yeah,
reveals his natural skin color.
yeah,
But that is like my favorite scene in the whole movie. Like when Loki goes down to the treasure room and he touches the thing, and Odin is behind him, and he's just like, "Am I cursed? Like, what's wrong with me?" And because he's like, you can feel like he's scared. Like
yeah,
he doesn't know what this is, and it's this. It starts, kind of like concerned father, scared son, and then as Loki starts to find out more what he is, and he's really given that performance.
yeah. He does a really good job.
Tell me.
Yeah,
Um, he finds out that he's a frost giant, that he's Laufey's son, and he's basically been a hostage his whole life and never knew it. And they don't really explain why Odin needs to sleep or why he loses consciousness or why he ends up in the big bubble very well. But I think it's just that he needs to sleep every once in a while to like recharge his godly powers.
yeah,
He's put it off a little too long, and he just sort of he faints, and so they're not sure if he'll ever wake up because he didn't like willfully go to sleep. He like slipped
you
into.
think that's why he was trying to rush and make Thor king? That way he could take a damn nap for a little bit. Then he was like, damn, I pushed this. Probably wasn't a good idea. I tried to rush him in. He wasn't ready.
I hadn't even thought of that, but that actually makes sense. Like, because Thor clearly isn't ready, and
Yeah. And
how
and Odin doesn't seem to really be the kind of person that makes mistakes either.
and it does seem like he's not ready. We don't know how long he needs to sleep. It might be for years. So is he just putting Thor in charge? So like he's thinking like like maybe it's his judgment is just off a little bit based on
Yeah.
needs to.
Yeah.
There's a part I think close to sorry. There's a part close to the end where that thing is shooting its space laser. It's when the bearded guy like knocks him into the store and
Yeah.
it's space laser at him. The most ridiculous dummy.
Yeah.
Just
You think he's
flies.
dead.
He
Yeah.
looks dead as fuck.
Yeah, it's just a flaming dummy goes shooting off the screen. You're like, he killed him, and then he's fine. You're like, what the hell?
Oh well.
I
But
mean, you wouldn't have missed him if they were going to kill a character. He would have been a fine one just to go, and nobody would have cared.
there's a
He could go.
part there's a part where they're discussing what happened and he's sitting on the couch eating a chicken leg.
Yeah.
It's worst. It's the worst acting eating that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's got the turkey leg and he's just like
Oh no,
it's
that's awful.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm going to look for that the next time I watch it.
um, but yeah, we were talking. Yeah, when because Thor basically he almost starts a war with the frost giants, and Odin has to save them, but then he's just like he's pissed. He's like, this is
Yeah.
thing. This is I'm gonna fucking like it's punishment time.
Yeah, and they get their money's worth out of Anthony Hopkins right there.
You're a vain, cruel boy.
Yeah.
You're an old man and a fool.
Yeah. He doesn't hold up, does he?
His voice is ridiculous sometimes. But what did you think of him, Chris Hemsworth? What did you think of him?
Not bad. I mean, I don't think the character gives him a whole lot to work with because they kind of he's an arrogant shithead while he's was it Asgard? What's it called?
Asgard, yeah.
Yeah, while he's in Asgard, he's a arrogant shithead. Then they kick him to Earth, and he's just kind of doofy, and he doesn't really know what's going on. He keeps getting knocked unconscious and shit, and he doesn't get a real chance to do a whole lot. But I think he does a good job as Thor. I buy into it. I think it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's phenomenal looking. I mean,
Yeah, and they make sure because guys, I noticed a lot of times the things that I think that a girl would think is attractive, a lot of times they're like, that's fucking gross. Like I see a big jack dude, I'm like, man, that that guy's attractive, and they're like, no, he's not. Like, what the fuck? Because what men think is attractive a lot of times isn't what women think is attractive. But they say in the movie over and over again, he's attractive. Don't forget he's attractive. So I buy it. He's a good looking guy, I guess.
but women who like female Marvel fans, almost at like probably a 9-to-1 or 10-to-1 ratio, would prefer Loki to
That
Thor.
wouldn't surprise. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me a bit. That really doesn't. It's like I never can guess who they think is attractive. I have no fucking idea. Like it just comes out of nowhere.
We think women want these man mountains.
Right.
Chris Hemsworth just looks like he's got steaks and pork chops just
Yeah.
through him. He's just a pile of meat and wrapped.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
women
Loki's
like,
mysterious.
yeah, he's a bad boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chris Hemsworth does all right. He does better in later films. It takes him a while to figure out not just the world that Thor takes place in, not just the mechanics of these space alien gods and Asgard and everything. It takes him a while to actually figure out Thor.
Yeah. I could see that.
Um,
Yeah, I would probably be able to give you a much better answer if I see him later on and and Thor is like a much more well-rounded character. Then I'll probably tell you that, oh my god, I can't believe how crappy he was in the original. But the
and
character just doesn't have that much depth to it.
there's something about his beard and hair in this movie that just look funny. I can't really put my finger on it. Like I don't know if they're fake or
Yeah,
if they're real and just his beard and hair don't look that good, and in the other movies they're fake.
yeah.
I don't
I know
know.
he's beefed up as shit. He's got that thing where he's so big that he's starting to get like muscle like around his eyes, so his eyes start to like sink back in his head. Have you noticed that?
Can you lift with your face?
Some dudes fucking get that crazy fucking thing. It's like hot dog face or something. It's fucking nuts. But he's starting to get it.
He's got like a 40-pound forehead lift.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Have you ever seen that video or that picture of that guy? I saw it like a couple of months ago. I think it's a guy who's just got arrested. What do they call that? Where they put you up there and they take a picture of you? It's that picture. Yeah, mugshot. Yeah. So it's that, but his neck, dude, is like fucking. It's cartoonish. Like he has to have something wrong with him. It's like tumors or something, dude. It's fucking crazy. And they said that it's just like a mugshot, but somehow they just put it on their website or whatever, and it had like millions of views where people were like, "I never skip neck day" and shit like that, like making fun of this guy. But it's a crazy fucking picture. I'm actually gonna put it on whenever we upload this. I'm gonna put that fucking picture up on here because it's fucking crazy.
Put Thor's face on that body. Just
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
like he
It's
doesn't
like a
work out.
cobra. Yeah. He's got like a fucking cobra hood.
Um, but yeah, I thought Chris Hemsworth does a fine job. His character arc is strange. He doesn't start his character arc really. His character doesn't go through any growth or any development until he fails to lift the hammer.
Right. And then
And
it's
that
like, boom,
it's so
180.
yeah, and that's an hour plus into the movie.
Yeah, it's a half hour before they get back to what you see him hit with the car, and it's like flashback. It's a half hour to get you back there, and the movie's not that long.
No, I think it's actually a little on the short end. I don't even know if it's 2 hours.
Yeah,
Shorter than Iron Man, I think. Uh, it's just he has the hammer lifting scene, can't lift the hammer. Then he has the scene in the bar where he's getting drunk with what's his face.
Yeah.
And he basically just says out loud like "Arbrid stupid."
Yeah.
And then
And when Loki's talking, I guess that's part of the hammer thing. Loki comes and talks to him, and he's just a broken man.
yeah,
Yeah.
and his character development starts. It's only a few scenes, and it's very quick. So, I mean, like, you can appreciate that they're putting work in to make sure he does, in fact, have a character arc, but it's like where Tony's begins almost immediately. Thor's begins late, and
Yeah, and it ends fast.
it ends fast. And because I think, again,
Like you get the feeling like if as soon as he was done talking to Loki, if like right after that, like he walks outside and that thing shows up, he would have basically been the person that he is at the end of the movie right there. Just
yes,
nothing happens that makes him stand up.
yeah. And I don't know, it's that's probably one of the weak areas of the movie is just the overall hero story. But again, I don't think they knew exactly what to do with him. It makes sense to start a story where he's like you make the invulnerable man vulnerable, and then tell the story of how he wanders around in the world like fish out of water, not understanding how to move around, being like as fragile as a person. But apart from getting knocked unconscious like 4 times in a row within the first 10 minutes, it's like he doesn't even, that doesn't affect him. Like at no point does he seem to grapple with the fact that he's very easily knocked unconscious at this point. It
Yeah.
happens to him over and over, but he never really comments on it or learns from it.
How
Uh,
he's not imprisoned for the way that he acts in the hospital is crazy. Because he just fucking goes berserk. And also,
and,
I don't. And also, I'm pretty sure some of those hospital staff could have been fired because they immediately start tackling him. He's like, how dare you? And they just start pouncing on him. It's like that. They would not. They're trying to draw his blood. Like they'd be like, all right, get the fuck out of here. Like we don't care. It's
he
crazy. Why are they so set? Like you're getting your damn blood drawn.
like at least one of those guys has a broken collarbone. Like
Yeah.
he fucks them up.
Yeah.
And then he gets the shot in the butt and goes down. But
Somebody must have just thought it was really funny to make him go unconscious. Like they were like, we're gonna just keep doing it.
yeah, the almost none of the movie's jokes land. Like there's jokes here there, but when you
That
laugh at the
the
movie,
one who's the girl that's the friend, I don't know her name, but she's like Natalie Portman's friend or whatever. She's kind of like the comic relief character.
her character's name is Darcy. That is Kat Dennings.
Yeah. She does okay for what they give her like 5 lines, but all of her lines are supposed to be like comic relief. She does like the when he's looking for his hammer, she's like Mew Mew, what's Mew Mew or whatever. Yeah, Mew Mew. Yeah, that's funny.
There's a little part. All I'd say, yeah, you're right. All the funny parts in the movie that actually do get a laugh are probably hers.
Hers,
She
yeah.
she was on that show, Two Broke Girls, for like 5 years, just like a sitcom. She can be funny. She was in The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
Uh, she's so hot.
Yeah.
And she's way hotter than Natalie Portman. And she's funny. But
Yeah.
there's a little scene that I missed up until like maybe the last time or the second to last time I watched it, where they're like, okay, we've got to find him. And she's in the background in the van, and you just see her, she just loads her taser again. She's like, okay. Just,
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that. That's funny.
she's like, all right.
Yeah.
If we're going to go find him again, I will have this.
Yeah, I know that's right.
But yeah, she's great. Natalie Portman, though, ugh, she's always had like a hit or miss. You can really tell when she's phoning it in,
Yeah.
and it seems like she's phoning it in this movie.
Yeah, they give her too many scenes of gushing over how he looks or whatever it is. She does it over and over again. Yeah, she does it. She's running off the road and shit. Yeah.
You got muscles. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
my
silly.
breast fell out.
My breast fell out. This crazy guy saw my breast. I could come out to the desert if you weren't gonna fuck me.
That's exactly what it's like.
I wrote down. Um, oh, there's a part where, and this irritates me. Whenever they do this in movies, they have it lets you know how Hollywood thinks of blue collar people, how they think of like regular working people that are like easily the vast majority of the population of the country, how they picture you and how you behave and think. The worst barbecue ever. Like a guy finds a hammer in the desert, he can't pick it up, and the next thing we know, 200 people in their pickup trucks are surrounding it.
Yeah.
Guys are grilling out, clacking their fucking tongs at each other. Clack, clack.
Yeah. Sure is heavy, ain't it? Yeah.
No one would do this. Like
No.
I grew up with this like really stupid like dually driving like pickup driving dubers in their fucking camo jackets and
Yeah.
truck nuts.
But
Even
that,
they are too smart to have ever done this.
and I bet they would have known to chain the fucking thing to the tow hitch. Like, why the fuck was it? It was like chained to the center of the bed somehow, and it just rips it off. And then the guy is so dumb. He's like, "Did I get it? Did you not just feel that? Like you're driving, that would have shook the shit out of you. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like you didn't see the bed of your truck get ripped off?"
But that's how they think of like middle America. That's how they think
Right.
of ours. We're so stupid that we'll try to lift something with our truck. We don't even know how to when they're the ones they don't even know how to the chains attached to the truck to begin with.
Yeah.
Like,
You go tell somebody like that just worked a fucking 14-hour shift that there's a hammer they can't lift in the parking lot and they need to go look at it. They're gonna punch you in the face. They don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about that. Get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean?
you know,
Why do they give a shit?
there's other scenes like there's a scene in the third Iron Man movie. There's a lot of scenes that take place in Tennessee, and everybody's walking around in their denim jackets and their cowboy hats. When's the last time you actually saw someone? We live in Tennessee. When's the last time you actually saw someone walking around in a full like Canadian
The
tuxedo and a
the
cowboy?
the only time I ever see that is when I'm downtown Nashville because all the tourists come in and they buy cowboy hats and they go boot scoot and boogie in.
We
But
dress
it's
that way.
all people with money. Yeah, they just go downtown and
They buy that
pretend
shit.
like they're a cowboy.
Yeah, they buy that shit at the mall and then walk around like
Right.
they're gonna
Yeah,
like
they actually have stores that sell them, and they're really expensive. Like a cowboy hat's like $300 and shit. Like it's crazy.
but
Yeah, that's such a good point, though. That's more of I think that's like I think more of that is something like maybe in Texas, but even there, I don't think they dress. No, they don't dress like that. Like it's like a rancher or something, farmer, somebody that's outside in the sun.
not every it's like there are more than two jobs. It's not just like Hollywood producer, farmer. It's like there's lots of things a person can do.
Most things, actually. Yeah, most things. Yeah, that's so true.
uh, but yeah, I was gonna say like another part of this movie that doesn't work for me is the romance, and I think we danced around it earlier talking about Natalie Portman and her gushing.
Yeah.
It it does not work. As I was writing my notes, I wrote like 3 pages of notes, and at least 4 times in increasingly large font every time I was writing it out, just bigger and bigger. This romance does not work. Underline.
I just don't. I've been trying to figure out why it does not work, and it's like I don't know what the fuck's going on. Is it because he's so aloof and they never really give him any? It's like almost like she's wanting to pursue him or something, but he's more focused on something else. So that dynamic is weird. And then just all of a sudden he's like, bam, and he's like, all right, let's do this thing. And it's just like snapping fingers, and it's like now they love each other for forever. And you're like, what?
It doesn't. It's the whole thing is it seems very shallow because he's a violent he's a violent lunatic who can't stop breaking things, breaking the law, attacking people, getting himself knocked unconscious. He's like this dangerous goofball. He's like stupid and crazy and dangerous, and like you said, aloof. And she's just like, ooh, muscles. And
Right.
she's not responding to anything but his muscles. And it
Right.
seems it's like, how would it feel in Iron Man?
He plays
If
like the one night stand guy for the entire movie. He plays the going out getting laid dude, like for the whole movie.
how would it feel if like Iron Man, if like Tony, as soon as Pepper walks in the room, they don't have any fun dynamic. They don't have back and forth. They don't have this like verbal sparring where we can see how much they care about each other, but they're kind of like it's
And they're
very.
so they're like yin and yang. They're so yin and yang for each other.
What if it wasn't like that? What if as soon as she came in the room, he just went, "Look at those titties," you know?
Yeah, that's so
It,
true.
there's
It would
nothing
suck all the romance out of it.
good. There's nothing romantic about that, no matter what
Yeah.
direction it's from. I mean, if it's based on one person just ogling the shit out of the other, it's not romantic. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that's very true. Yeah. Yeah, then you don't, and it never seems reciprocated. Like you don't ever feel the tension build or anything. There's like a moment where he like, I think he like might pull. No, I think she even pulls like a jacket up over her or something. But he like looks over at her while she's asleep. He's like, thanks or something. But that's like the farthest that it goes until the end of the movie.
Yeah. And it never makes sense why he's attracted to her. Like
That's true.
he's a space god. Literally everywhere else in the universe, he makes sense. Every other planet knows who he is, or at least what he is. On Earth, he's
You
got.
know, now that you're saying that, they could have done it differently to where they could have made it like she's the first woman that ever like was like I don't give a shit about you, like say she acted the opposite of the way that she acts in the movie.
That would make sense.
That might have worked better.
That might have worked better. That would make a little more sense because I mean,
It's
he is.
something different.
Women don't just go around falling in love with random meatheads who throw coffee cups on the ground. You know, I mean, if
Yeah.
that's all it took,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they'll bang that guy, but they
Yeah,
don't fall.
and she acts essentially the same as you imagine that a lot of the women where he's from act.
Yeah, but it's like you're never really sure why he's attracted to her. Like he's like the prince of Asgard. He's going to be the king. He's got to be up to his neck in like intergalactic, like top flight, poontang. So
Yeah.
Natalie Portman is just sort of this skinny, 5 to 10 years older than he is.
Could
Like
be. She's got to be fucking. She's getting old. Got to be.
she's in her 40s. I think she's got to be older than him. She's got to be.
She has to be older. Oh, 100%. When she has to be older than. There's no way it's not.
And that
But she
feels.
was in fucking Star Wars was fucking 20 years ago or something, wasn't it? Holy shit. Yeah, it's true. She was the love interest in a movie that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just didn't buy. I thought it was bad casting. I would not have gone with Natalie Portman.
Yeah. I could see that.
I
Not for this role. Yeah. I could see that.
maybe they just thought they wanted someone as famous as Gwyneth Paltrow
Yeah.
because we didn't watch the Hulk, but the love interest in the Hulk was Liv Tyler.
Oh. So they're
So
picking out of like they're more it seems like Marvel was more going for like people from nerd approved movies, you know what I mean? The people that like Marvel are gonna like her and they like her and they like her type thing.
and maybe they were just focused on the wrong parts of like not whether or not the actress was right for the role, but like how famous were they, like how nerd
Yeah.
they, and not like will it make like is she going to be able to pull off Jane Foster, and not just make her seem just sort of empty-headed and just like she's supposed to be a scientist who's making this huge discovery, and she's just like a man. It's
Yeah, that's so true.
it's almost sexist the way she's like just completely falls apart at the first sign of a handsome dude.
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah, it must be a desperate field she works in, huh?
There aren't a lot of hunks in astrophysics,
No, apparently not.
but yeah, I mean, but
Yeah,
they're
that's
like,
true. That and it hinges so much of the end of the movie hinges on that too, because they really want you to care, but it's hard. You don't. I noticed out of all the times I've seen it, I just haven't give a shit yet. When he's like, "Can you see her?" or whatever, it's like it doesn't. They didn't do enough with romance in the movie to make you care for them to hinge so much on it at the end.
so much in the whole ending and the emotional tone of the movie, the final sacrifice and all that is supposed to hinge on them being in love, but we don't feel their love. We don't feel the romance or the. We just kind of feel like, well, she thinks he's hot and he will just stick it anywhere, I guess.
Yeah,
She's not ugly, so
yeah,
like at
yeah.
no point she does nothing to like make herself of value to him apart from
It's
just sort
very
of
true.
be around and talk to him.
Yeah,
It just, I don't know. Comparing it to, especially coming off Iron Man, comparing it to like Tony and Pepper,
yeah. They did that so well.
of course, it's going to fall short, but it even falls short just compared to like just other random ass action movies. For some reason, this one just seems goofy and lame and lazy and like no one's heart was in it. Not in the writing, not in the directing, not in the performance. Nobody's heart was in the romance element of this movie. It was
Yeah,
so forced and lame.
yeah, yeah. I agree 100%.
Fails on every level. It was good to see that like Agent Coulson was back in the movie. A
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah, yeah.
continuity from the other films, making it feel more like a universe. Including a character we've already seen. Um, there was a part I think after Shield steals their lab equipment. They're all sitting on the roof. Uh, the guy, I can never think of his character's name. He mentions something about how he knows who Shield is because he knew somebody who was a pioneer in the field of gamma radiation, and Shield got involved, and he was never seen again. Like
Yeah,
alluding to the Incredible Hulk.
yeah,
So I mean that is also. And then there was the line when the destroyer lands in front of the agents of Shield. Somebody says, "Is that one of Stark's?"
yeah.
Like that guy never tells me anything. So little things like that to help make it feel like a shared
That's
universe.
very true. Yeah, all those things help the movie tremendously. It's very true. And not they don't just help this movie, they help the whole genre.
Yeah, it helps the whole thing because it helps to watch this and imagine that Iron Man is somewhere
Right. That's what yeah, you're like, "Oh yeah, he's off doing something right now."
further west. He's in California somewhere probably.
Yeah.
But uh, another really good Heimdall, the guy who controls the Bifrost with the eyes and the
That
helmet.
dude is badass as shit.
Yeah, fucking Idris Elba. There's like just like this energy around him. Like he doesn't even really do anything.
Yeah.
You just sort of feel that he's imposing.
Yeah.
Like all that just from the way he speaks and moves.
Yeah. He's like the ultimate guard.
Yeah, it's like just like from the first scene he's in, he's just like they want to get past him so they can go to Jotunheim, and they don't think he's going to let him, and he shuts Loki up like in the middle of his. He's about to
Yeah.
launch, stops him, and he's like, "Some frost giants snuck into the kingdom, evading my gaze. I too would like to find out what's going on." And like right away, you can feel like this aura of sort of menace and controlled like power. It's like
Yeah.
he's got it restrained. He's got a collar on the dog, but it's there.
Yeah.
The scene where Loki comes back from Jotunheim after he's made the deal with the frost giants. Um, he comes back and uh, Heimdall is just like, when you went to Jotunheim just now, I could not see you. Same way I couldn't see the giants when they snuck.
Yeah, he's letting him know. He's letting him know. I've added this shit up in my head.
Like I didn't see you do it, but I'm putting two and two together.
Yeah.
And Loki tries to shut him down, and he's just like, "Did my father ever fear you?" And he's like, "Well, no, because he was the king, and I was sworn to serve him." He's like, "Well, you're sworn to serve me now, so you just keep this shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Get up about it." And
But
as
that
soon
also, do you think he could, if he fought Odin, what would have happened? Would have been just a crazy fight.
I mean, I think Odin is probably the strongest person on Asgard. Heimdall's up there. It's not really clear who's stronger between him and Thor, I don't think. Thor might be stronger than the Heimdall as well, but it's all very, it's
Yeah, he's a bad son of a bitch.
yeah,
You could make a fucking series about him.
probably. But I love the bit when he calls the Warriors 3 into his like room in there, and he's just like, "You would defy the orders of Loki, our king, and seek out Thor on Earth." And they're just like, "Yes." He just goes, "Good."
He says it so fast. He's like, good. He just starts walking away. It's so awesome.
He's like he's got yeah, he's got that BDE for sure.
Yeah. He's like Odin in a way that he sees the big picture.
Yeah. He likes, and that's such a cool power to like stand there and just see everything and guard the gate, the bridge that can take you anywhere in the universe. Like that's just cool in and of itself. His
Yeah.
helmet, um, and then there's the scene where he confronts Loki on the bridge, and Loki's just done with the pretense. He's just like, "Yeah, I did all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. What the fuck are you gonna do?"
Yeah, and he freezes him with the fucking fruit punch.
Yeah, as soon as he swings his sword at him, it's like Loki's like, he's like, "Come at me, bro." He's like, but he's tricking him. He's making him swing. He's got that box hidden,
Yeah.
freezing him with it. Without actually, he doesn't even have to fight him. He just disables him with the
He
frost.
lets a lot ride on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's an all or nothing move right there for something, you know.
closed man. Like that barely works.
Yeah.
But
Like it wouldn't surprise me if like as he was walking away, there's like pee trickling down his leg.
he does that thing where he like grabs the seat of his pants and pulls it out.
Yeah. Whew.
He doesn't want it to touch his butt.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
um, there was a part when the Warriors 3 arrive on Earth, and one of the Shield guys says, "We have Xena, Jackie Chan, and Robin Hood." I remembered those names way easier than I remembered their actual names.
Yeah. That's true. That's such a horrible point, but it's so true. They are forgettable as shit. They do nothing good.
Show up in that whip, and I'm watching. I'm just like, "Why go?
Just go away. Yeah, just go away.
All of you, one will do."
Yeah.
Uh, but I think Loki, when you really think about it, I think Loki's probably the best part.
Yeah.
At parts, it is sometimes a little obvious that he is evil, and his plan does start to make less sense as it goes. But the performance is there, and he's when you take a step back, less at the specifics and more like just the general arc of his character and plan. Um, he's sympathetic. He's mysterious. You don't seem to know why he's doing what he's doing, and he doesn't even seem to know some of the time. He even tells Laufey when he makes the deal with him, he's like, "Hey, I'll let you kill Odin, and then I'll give you the ice casket back, and you can just rule your ice planet from just do whatever you want." And we're learning as we're watching. Like at no point does he just like lay out his evil scheme.
Yeah.
We in real time, step by step, as he does shit, exactly what he's planning. Because
Yeah.
at that point, it kind of seems like, oh, he's trying to have his father assassinated. And then we find out he's faking an assassination. He's tricking these guys. And at this point, he knows Laufey is his real father.
Yeah.
But he's tricking them into attacking his father in Asgard so he can rush in and be like the hero
Yeah.
and like get the respect and the glory.
Yeah. So he lets them in the very beginning. He lets them in, right?
Yeah.
Just so all of that, he gets the ball rolling. I guess Thor getting banished is more of a bonus. He really just wanted to ruin his day.
He wanted to ruin the day. It doesn't seem like he plans to have him banished, but he doesn't
Yeah.
really regret it either.
And then all of everything else is just so he can be the one that kills the
Yeah.
big bad frost giant.
He wants to be the hero. It's like he wants to be the hero for once, and it's like he understands Thor is always just like a step ahead of him, and he never gets a chance to be the hero because Thor has eliminated every threat before he gets a shot.
Right.
He wants to eliminate the person who's standing between what he perceives as the person standing between him and glory.
Okay.
Thor.
But man, does he not fuck up everything else in order to do that?
Yeah. And some of it, like the way it plays out, just doesn't make sense. Like in the third act of the movie, when the story should be tightening up, there are some things that really start to come unglued a little bit. Like, first of all, it is a big moment when Thor gets his hammer back, right? Like, okay, so Thor's on Earth. He thinks Odin is dead. He can't lift his hammer. He's starting to kind of try to accept living on Earth as a human. He's got scientist lady.
Maybe that's why he starts to fall for her. He's settling.
He's settling. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
He's like, oh fuck. Now I guess I'll stick with this bitch.
Oh no, I'm stuck with you.
Oh shit.
It's the booty call. I can't do an impression. He sounds. Chris Hemsworth talks like he's got a little bit of water in his mouth that he's trying not to spill.
Yeah.
Just like under his tongue. It's
Yeah.
a little strange. But the destroyer lands, and that doesn't make sense. Like right here, right in this setup, it starts to not make sense. Like for some reason, Loki is at the same time when his plan seems sort of careful and he's making little slight moves here or there. Suddenly, he's going to make two big moves at the same time that he can't really pay attention to. He's going to take out Heimdall. He's going to send the destroyer through the Bifrost to kill Thor. He's going to have the frost giants come through after he's already seen the destroyer has failed. Then he's going to bring the frost giants through. Like I have that written down in my notes.
Yeah.
It's like he's there and he's doing this like destroyer kill Thor, bring the frost giants in to attack Odin. He's doing this like simultaneously, and it doesn't flow right. It seems like they couldn't decide what his evil plan was going to be.
Yeah, it's true.
They couldn't decide like what so they went with like both.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's so while like Thor fights the destroyer and he like sacrifices himself and
You notice this is the one time where he doesn't go unconscious. He gets the shit knocked out of him and he's still awake. It's so stupid.
like list the things that can knock Thor unconscious. Like okay, the side panel of a van,
Yeah.
a syringe full of some sort of chemical
Drug.
restraint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your bumper of a
Yeah.
van. Lots of things apparently can render Thor unconscious.
Yeah.
But getting bitch slapped by a guy
And he
face,
flies like a lawn dart, like 100 yards down the pavement.
his face is all fucked up, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm dying, but I'm not dying.
Yeah, that's what he stays awake for. Like, what the fuck?
Like, how does of all the things that knock him unconscious, how did that leave him just but awake?
Oh, it's goofy.
You feel like if you like, I don't know, I don't know. It's weird that the alcohol didn't affect him either. When you start thinking about how easily he does seem to lose consciousness,
Yeah.
how wins the drinking contest with the other guy, it's like, wouldn't it make more sense if he doesn't know how to handle the booze anymore? He can't handle it because he's never had. He's got a human metabolism now.
Yeah. It wouldn't
You
surprise me if there's a version where like the other guy brings him in there. That wouldn't surprise me.
know, hey, open the goddamn door. This guy weighs a ton.
I'm not opening the door for you. You're fucking weird.
But
He is fucking weird. I like him though. What else has that guy been in? He's a fucking creep, but I like it.
was Bill, Will Turner's
Oh my god, you're right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He's equally strange and intense in that movie.
Yes.
Time's run out, Jack.
Yeah, he's weird as shit in that movie. He's just a weird guy, but man, he almost steals the scenes. He's fucking. You can't take your eyes off him.
Time's run out, Jack. It comes now. Then it's the local for you. He's very like his accent is strange. He was also in the remake of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He was a serial killer in that.
I could see a serial killer. That I buy.
He was like a Viking warlord. There was a King Arthur movie that got made 10 or 15 years ago where Clive Owen was King Arthur. And he was like a Viking warlord. It was like attacking. He was like leading an attack on Roman soldiers.
He's probably good in that.
Probably. I mean, he's just one of those actors that pops up in things, and he's almost always good.
Yeah.
He's in Dune. He's like the leader of the like bad family, the bad guy family.
Oh, he's in Dune?
Yeah, he's in Dune.
I gotta see that.
It's good, but he's really good. Yeah. But Loki's plan, it's strange. It's like he freezes Heimdall, then he hits the pause button on the Frost Giant plan. He's like, okay, pause, and he sends the destroyer through to fight Thor. And then only once Thor has like sacrificed himself and he's laying there, and you get it is a cool moment now. It is a cool moment when like you hear the repeat, the setup for the payoff. He's like, whoever holds this hammer, be he worthy, shall possess the powers of Thor.
Yeah.
Flies to his hand, and his armor comes back and his cape comes back, and he's like all powered up again. He goes Super Saiyan, and it's weird that they think he looks hot. He kind of looks silly.
He does look silly in that.
The cape is very bright red. It is a
That's exactly what I was thinking. He looks a little goofy, doesn't he? Yeah. Little Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. But the fight with the thing, he spins it, and they're like in a tornado,
Yeah.
flies through its face. Like it's a little like I don't know. I feel like we wanted to see him just like smash something with the hammer, and the tornado looks like shit.
Yeah. I was in the very beginning of the movie. He says something about a hammer to destroy or a hammer to build, and I've kept wanting to see him build something, but he only destroys shit with it.
Yeah, I thought that too. Like as I watched it, like when we first started talking about doing this, and I watched the movie, or that line stood out to me. I was like, not only as a weapon to destroy, but as a tool to build. And
Yeah.
I really started thinking, like, does he ever build anything with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's like he has to be fucking careful. That's for sure.
I'm
Holy shit.
gonna drop that son of a bitch.
No.
He's just like on the third story of like a like the skeleton of like a tall building, like the beams, and he just drops the hammer. He's like, "Watch the fuck out!"
Yeah. Oh my god.
But
Yeah.
but then like he destroys it, but only after he's destroyed he's beaten the destroyer. Then the frost giants come through. It's like Loki knows his plan's not working. he was controlling the destroyer. We kept getting shots of him. He heard Thor's words, like he was
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
He knows the destroyer's been smashed to dust. Now he brings the frost giants through.
What's he watching through? Also,
I have no idea.
just like a TV.
I couldn't tell if this were like a weird thing where like him sitting there, we never see what he's looking at. So did they just have like a shot, like some shots of him sitting and thinking? Like they wanted him to like just sit and emote, like he's struggling.
Right. But it seems reactionary to that, doesn't it? The
I
way
mean,
that it's shot, he's like, it almost like he's contemplating.
but like editing could be a factor in that, I suppose. Or maybe they just filmed it quickly and they didn't have time to like make a TV screen or
Yeah.
little bits of this movie make me think that they didn't know exactly how it was going to end or how it was going to go until they were like filming it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot of places where the screws could have been tightened in this movie to make it maybe not as good as Iron Man, but a little closer, a little better than
Yeah,
both.
that's true.
I feel
Yeah,
like
there's no doubt about that.
a little
Iron Man, it's hard to find. The little things that you see are just hard. I mean, they're nitpicky little shit that's going to happen in movies.
very nitpicky, very nitpicky.
Yeah. But
This
the things in this movie are more structural. There's a few problems that are just kind of loose. It's like
movie,
it's still a house, but it's kind of fucked up.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, and I don't know, just like that, just like why would you just continue with your plan? Like, okay, frost giants are here. Let's hurry past this frozen guy and go kill my dad.
Yeah.
They don't see it coming that he's gonna just like stab them in the back. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't really.
And now does he know that Thor's on the way?
I mean, I guess he thinks as long as what's his face stays frozen, Thor can't come back.
Right.
But then why send the destroyer after him?
Why not kill him after he's frozen?
Why not kill him after he's frozen? Why send the destroyer to kill Thor at all if you believe he's totally stuck? He's totally
Yeah.
he can't get back. Why try to kill
That's
him?
true.
It
I never
almost
thought
doesn't
about that. That's true. He could have froze the guy, killed him, and that would have been it. Just
like
walked away.
if you take the destroyer bit out,
Yeah,
you have to come up with another way for Thor to like sacrifice himself.
that's true.
Bad.
Right.
So that's like what we get from there. But if you really think about it, something else there maybe seems like it does start to like you can see where like
They needed to move all the pieces, but there was no way to move all the pieces they had, and it make perfect sense.
it's structural. It's like when the base isn't firm, it's not going to lead towards a firm like apex. And
Yeah.
this we're sitting here trying to go over how they could have fixed the ending when really you'd have to rewind it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like nip all this in the bud and
Yeah, I agree.
but it would still I think make more sense if he never sent the destroyer, if something else happened to Thor. Fuck thinking of something right now, but anything else. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody
It's not our job to think of this shit. It's their job.
Rob Jane, he jumps in front of the gun. You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what. Something happens, he gets the hammer back, he proves himself worthy, gets the hammer back.
That would have been good. Something like that.
Loki is not trying to kill him. He has not sent the destroyer after him. He's just frozen Heimdall, brought the frost giants in. He's in the middle of getting this done. He doesn't know Thor's coming back. He doesn't know Heimdall is broken out of the ice. That would play a lot better as far as like Loki's character and the overall like plot, the overall, because it definitely seems like he tried to kill Thor for no reason, and it seems like why did you do it right then? Like, what provoked you into trying to kill Thor then? The three losers went to find him? What good are they? It's like, oh
Yeah.
no, they're on Earth.
That's true. They're fucking useless.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I could handle Thor, but I can't handle him plus those three.
Yeah. If Thor could have got his hammer back, there's no way he could have made it back just with his hammer.
Yeah, and like you said, I think all Loki had to do was actually kill Heimdall, and Thor would have just been stuck on Earth forever.
Yeah, that just would have been the end of the movie.
Got my hammer back, and I'm Thor, but I'm stuck here.
Hey, maybe he could have built something. He had to build his way. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh shit.
but we get to the part like he kills Laufey, and we suddenly understand his scheme. Like he's just trying to seem like a hero. Like
Yeah.
he's trying to, I don't know, earn some respect or some adulation or something. And then Thor shows up and he's just like, "You tried to kill me. This is all a bunch of shit." And
Yeah.
we
And
get
doesn't the other part that bothers me is that so Odin starts crying whenever Thor is, so can he see it?
it seems like it. It definitely
So
that
how does he not see what Loki's doing? Is Loki hiding it from him? Like the freezing the guy and all that? Like isn't he gonna be mad as fuck when he wakes up no matter what? Or does he not think he's gonna wake up?
I think part of Loki thinks that Odin's never going to wake up. And if he does, he will have vanquished the frost giants and like brought peace and like he will like he I guess he thinks the end outweighs the means. That Odin will respect him and reward him for what he accomplished and overlook how he accomplished it.
Because he is trying to kill all the frost giants, right?
Yes. He wants to turn the and they explain that to us early that if the Bifrost just stays on, it will destroy a planet.
Yeah.
So we set up a doomsday device. That's kind of clever. You set up a doomsday device in the beginning of the movie, and then it doesn't actually get triggered till the end. You know, it's not meant.
Yeah.
It just has the capability.
Right.
Um, but one of my favorite parts of the movie is when they're fighting and they're in the and you can see the world tree is like sprouted in the room, and it's like dark, and the lighting is very dramatic and intense. And Thor and Loki are having their like discussion, like, and he's just like, "You can't kill a whole race." And he's just like, "Well, why not? Like, you were ready to just beat these guys to goo with your hammer. Like,
Yeah.
what could you? Why is it okay for you and not for me?" Um, and they end up like he's like, "I've changed," and he's like, "Well, so have I." And they fight a little bit, and finally, Thor's like, "Loki, this is madness." And it was like my favorite part in the movie. Loki looks at him and he's like, "Is it?"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, well, when you say it like that, is it?
Yeah.
It's
It's madness.
probably madness.
Yeah.
It is mad. It didn't like maybe it wasn't. Now it definitely seems like it is. Like that look on your face is a little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He does a really good job in playing that role. He really does. You buy him big time.
yeah, yeah.
You
You
never
definitely.
doubt for a second he's like a Weasley shit. Like they do lay it on thick in the beginning, like you said. But
But then they have this big like knockdown, drag out god fight, and the fight is actually pretty good. Like they have different powers. You know, Thor's got his hammer and his lightning, but like Loki has like this weird illusion magic. Like Thor thinks he's like dangling from the
yeah.
bridge, and then he just disappears and he's behind him and comes at him again.
Yeah. Somehow that gets that like they show you that he does it 2 or 3 times, but every time it fucking tricks me every time. You know, it got me every time.
Every time. But yeah, and then they fight a little more. He puts the hammer on his chest to like pin him down, and
That's
then
funny.
he's gonna try and stop the Bifrost because it's destroying Jotunheim. Um, and those guys are fucked, by the way. You see them just like running around as the planet's exploding. It's like God
Yeah.
knows how many dudes are getting wiped out.
Yeah.
We don't really care because they're just like a race of red-eyed villains. But
Yeah.
but he realizes he has to smash the bridge uh, to stop it, and that will make it impossible to travel to Earth. So he'll never see Jane again, but he has to smash the bridge.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that's like it actually really works. Like this works as the ending of the movie. It seems it could come off like a little contrived, but like this is like a real struggle. Like he has to choose between like saving all these lives and like the woman he loves, and he makes like the heroic choice. He's like, "I'm sorry, Jane," and he's like smashing.
Yeah.
And Loki's even there, and it's like with the wrong actor, it can seem cheesy. Like he literally states like what's at stake,
Yeah.
but the way he says it, you don't even question it. He's just like, "If you smash the bridge, you'll never see her again."
Yeah.
But he says it so intensely that it seems sincere, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, if they it would have been absolutely perfect if it's like so much balances on their relationship, Natalie
Yeah,
Portman and him. It's like that's the only thing that pulls away from that scene. But I agree with you that the scene is good. I think it makes sense.
yeah.
It's
The
good.
scene with Loki, and especially the scenes where Thor and Loki are talking to each other, are like, and or the scenes where Odin and Loki are talking together, like these are the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
And when it's like, well, maybe the budget, just wasn't there. Like, how expensive would that shit be? But it makes you feel like the movie probably shouldn't have taken place on Earth. Like this, it's weird, but Asgard only really seems more ridiculous when we're constantly flashing back to Earth.
that's true. If
But
they
if
just let you sit in it for a while.
you're just in it, it doesn't seem silly.
Right.
Like maybe
Yeah.
just at first, but as soon as you get a chance to really get in it and follow the characters, suddenly you don't care that they're all wearing capes
Yeah.
and have helmets and things.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it also would have helped to see more people too, because you see a bunch of people whenever Thor's gonna be king or whatever the first time, but then you never see people again after that. And it's like, what's his name becomes king? There's nobody says, "Hey, good job" or anything. He doesn't seem to have a council or no. I think he's the only person that knows. It seems like it's weird.
did he just walk into the room and sit down? Like,
Yeah, I'm king now. Like nobody knows. I guess.
even though he
What's
didn't
the point
know,
of being king if nobody knows what the fuck's going on over here?
they're pretty close to the royal family, it seems, and they didn't know. Like, to the
Yeah.
people they ever made aware that this was happening.
Yeah.
How many people even live on Asgard? Like, it's
I
never
don't know. It's never explained.
500, 10 million. Like,
Yeah,
it's
was that everybody earlier that was there? Was that the whole planet?
in the room. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I feel like we could have, a movie that took place more in their world and less on Earth. We could have fleshed it out a little bit.
that's true. I didn't think about that, but that's very true.
The parts of this movie that really work the best are actually as weird as they are. Space gods, as weird as they are, the best scenes in the movie are the ones that just take place with them, where they're
Yeah,
they're playing it straight and like not for laughs. It's like they take it seriously, and so we just kind of, it's like, okay, he's got antlers. All right, okay, like
yeah, that's very true. All their best actors are in there too. Fucking like you said, the Loki and Odin stuff is great.
yeah,
Yeah, you buy all that.
and even
Even with, I
Renee.
mean, they're delivering complicated dialogue and trying to make you buy into this world, but you do just because of the way that they present it to you.
Renee Russo as Frigga, I think her name is, Odin's wife,
Yeah,
who's like, and it's nice to see. She doesn't have a lot of scenes, but like it's nice to see like her and Loki like talking. We see that like she's not like some weird absentee mother or anything like that, and she knew that he wasn't really her son, but like she clearly still loves him and everything, and it's
and she's
complicated.
not grieving like to a ridiculous degree either.
She seems like sturdy and strong, like
Yeah,
like a god queen to be. Um, But yeah, then they smash the bridge, and he's dangling by the. They both fall. Odin wakes up when the bridge is smashed. Like that's a big enough thing to awaken him from his like Odin coma. He flies out. They're falling. He catches Thor by the foot. Thor grabs a hold of one end of the spear. Loki grabs the other, so they're just like dangling. And Loki's like, "Oh, Father, do you love me now?
Yeah.
Look at all this. Do you love me?" And Odin's just like, "No."
Yeah.
It's I'm exaggerating, but
It's
it's
basically what happens.
very cold. He's just like, "I did all this," and he's just like, "No, Loki."
Yeah.
And he's like, it's one of those moments where it's like he's not mad, he's just disappointed.
Yeah, and that's all. Loki's just hanging on by a thread at that point.
That
Literally hanging on by a thread.
he lets go
Yeah.
and disappears into whatever, like gets sucked into a quasar or some damn thing.
Yeah.
Thor's all busted up because like now he's smashed the bridge, he's lost his woman, his brother just flew away into a black hole, and
It's a lot.
it's a lot. He's been
He's
through a
been
lot.
through a lot.
Yeah. And then we find like Odin's gonna stay king for a while. It's like he's recognized Thor's not quite ready, but he's sort of on the way.
Yeah.
And
And now he's had his nap, so he bought himself some time.
some time. And Thor has gone through sort of a journey. It's like you understand, like at the beginning, he's like the spoiled prince,
Yeah.
He's all the strengths and he's
He's
invulnerable.
not ready.
He's not ready. He hasn't lost anything. He's never really been tested. It's like
Yeah.
he's doing impressive things, but only from like your perspective. Like you as like a small person would think the things he's done are impressive. But from his perspective, he's never really had to try.
Yeah.
He just wins without trying. And to be faced with adversity for the first time, to sort of throw a tantrum, prove that he's sort of spoiled and entitled and temperamental, to lose his power, to like struggle, to get like sort of humiliated and tasered and get a needle in his butt and then like learn how to sacrifice himself and learn how to like use inner strength and then sacrifice the woman he loves. He's like, she doesn't die, but he's sacrificing the ability to be with her
Yeah.
in order to save a planet of people that he would have
Wanted to kill earlier.
wanted to kill them earlier, but now he's sacrificing being with the woman he loves to save them
Yeah.
because it sounds like sort of an easy lesson that genocide is bad, but
Yeah. That's true.
sort of an important lesson for someone who could actually do it.
Yeah. That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
but then he's a better man at the end. He's like sad and he's like wounded. He's like been. This is like the first time he's. It's almost a little like a Jordan Peterson thing, I guess. He's stayed in the bubble too long.
Yeah.
He's sort of entitled and spoiled, and Odin literally has to like kick him out of the garden. Like
Yeah.
he has to kick Adam out of the garden into the chaos,
Yeah.
experience some malevolence, and get
Yeah.
pissed himself. And then he comes back stronger, better, wiser. He's wounded. It's like he's carrying scars, but he's a better man for the struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah, it's that all makes sense and it works good, and I'm glad that those parts, the fundamental story is good. The fundamental story is good. There's little parts they didn't pull everything out 100% perfect, but the story itself is good.
There are just like I said, man. There are some parts that just the screws were loose and they needed to tighten them. And just
Yeah.
need tightening here or there. And I've like I said, I've watched this movie 4 or 5 times in the last few weeks, and I have sort of a new appreciation for it. There's a time I would have told you that it was like near the bottom. I don't think so. I think it's easily middle to top middle for like all of the MCU together. And as far as like, especially considering some of their later, more recent outings.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see some of those too. But after going from Iron Man to this was hard in the first time I seen it. But like I said, every time I've watched it, I've liked it a little bit better. I think it's just like we said in the very beginning, buying into the world and all that.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of something extra that it didn't take for Iron Man, and then just that little bit of extra effort it takes to buy in the other little things where the story is kind of loose in places and stuff like that. Uh, it does. The first time through, I didn't think it was that great, but now I do. I think it's better. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah. I actually think I like it better now that we've talked about it than I liked it before we did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then there is that last thing at the end of the credits. Did you watch the post-credit scene?
Yes, I did, and I don't understand it, but I did watch it. The creepy
So
guy is still creepy. I know that much.
creepy guy's still creepy. He's in a base. We see Nick Fury from Iron Man and Iron Man 2. He's there, and he's got some things like, I'm gonna show you something. He's like, I thought you brought me down here to kill me, and he doesn't say no right away. So it's like this weird, did you?
Yeah, that's true.
But then he's like, myths and legend. We got this thing. And he opens it up, and we see a little blue cube, and it's like pulsing. And he's like, if this could lead to limitless energy. And as he says it, there's a reflective surface right here, and Loki's face moves into the reflection. He's like, well, that's worth taking a look. And then he repeats Loki, well, that's worth taking a look.
Yeah,
Then it cuts off. And it's like, we don't really know what this is. We know Loki's still alive. We know there's some incredibly powerful thing on Earth. And Loki is now in proximity to it somehow. But we don't
yeah.
really.
We don't understand how. Like, is he possessing this guy? What the hell is that? Yeah,
Was in control of him all along.
that's what I was thinking. And I was like, has he been? But it really doesn't make sense, and I hope that's not the case because there's just scenes that are stupid, or I don't know. I guess it just kind of takes away from that guy's character.
Yeah.
But
I will tell you, like, one of the big takeaways of this movie and something to focus on is, like, as we move forward, we watch, Captain America, but then Avengers, and we continue. This Thor's story, it takes him a while to get Thor right, but one thing they get right away is the dynamic between Thor and Loki. And as the whole like MCU story unfolds, their story is one of the strongest, more interesting ones. Like Loki and Thor and the dynamic of, like, good brother, bad brother, strong brother, sneaky brother. It's like this weird, like, you want them, like, Loki's he's sort of he's that character that make you want to see him turn good, but like
yeah,
also at the same time, like every time he doesn't, you want Thor to smarten up and realize he's never gonna turn good.
right,
You kind of want them both to change in some way, but they're so stubborn that it's
yeah,
like. But the next time, I will say that the dialogue is much better and the story is much better. The next time they have like scenes together and like a movie coming up, and it's once you've really got like some good dialogue to work with and a really good story structure, it's like the characters are great and they nailed the dynamic in this movie. But Avengers is a better movie. There's some better movies further on, and they really, really nail it. And it's one of my favorite parts. Like going through watching it, it's one of my favorite parts of the uh, the MCU story up to like when they capped everything on Endgame. And right now they're in Phase 4, so they're just kind of like spinning their wheels, trying to like, okay, I don't know what our next big thing is, but we got to
yeah. We
keep
gotta fucking figure something out.
making something out soon.
Yeah. What's our
But
next movie after this one?
Captain America and then Avengers.
I'm looking forward to Avengers because I remember when that came out, everybody made a huge deal about it.
It's really good. Avengers, I watched it not too long ago. It's Joss Whedon directed it, so it's got that like that Whedon-y sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not that all of his jokes are bad or anything. It's just that when they are, they don't get any better on a repeat viewing.
Yeah.
But mostly, he's the kind of guy that does understand comic books and comic book characters and how to tell a story like this. Like, because take a look at every show he ever did, like Buffy or Firefly or Dollhouse or any of those things. Yeah, there's like a central character, but it's mostly about the group,
Yeah, that's true.
about the group.
Yeah.
And he really understands that like group dynamic of people who have like set personalities and like how to continue the story of these people. They're each distinct and they're each sort of in a collective and they have a problem to solve, but there's like frictions and relationships and everybody reacts to everyone else differently.
Yeah.
He's really good at that, and you kind of needed that because like you haven't seen Captain America yet, but I'm sure you can already imagine it's how does Thor talk to Iron Man?
Right.
And Tony, who takes the piss out of everyone,
Right.
what does he think about this
Yeah.
guy? Like,
Yeah.
only imagine, and it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm really looking forward to the most right now. Like Captain America, I think is a better movie than Thor, or at least that's what I've thought up until now. Maybe watching it a few times, change my mind. But it's really good. But I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. I'm looking forward to it too because it's like we're going through all this, and all this right here is just kind of introducing all the characters that we need to know before the Avengers comes out. And then do they do kind of the same thing over again where they introduce a few more characters and then another Avengers movie comes out?
Um, after Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor Part 2, Captain America Part 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And then I think they do another Avengers movie. So I think the only new characters that get introduced between the first Avengers and the second one are the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then after, I think other than that, it's continuing other stories.
Does the Avengers movie itself introduce new characters? A lot, probably.
We get reintroduced to, because Hawkeye is in this movie for a second. We didn't talk about it, but
Yeah.
when he's trying to get his hammer, a guy grabs a bow and arrow, runs across the mud, jumps up in a thing, it lifts up. That's Hawkeye. He's an
Yeah,
Avenger.
he gets a couple lines. You get the feeling that he's cool, but you don't know who he is or what the hell's going on. It's kind of like an elbow to comic book fans, but I don't know much about it. But
He's human. He's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. His superpower is just he's incredibly accurate and skilled. Like he just impossibly accurate shots with a bow and arrow or any kind of thrown weapon. Yeah, basically. And he gets sort of reintroduced. And I can off the top of my head, I can think of a character that gets introduced, but it's a spoiler, and it's
yeah,
sort of a post credits thing. So.
I heard somebody say something the other day. It was like on a bloopers reel or something, but a guy said he was talking about the Avengers. And he's like, "Yeah, and they all get turned to dust." And I was like, "Damn it! I think that just spoiled something for me." I don't know, but I think it just spoiled something for me. I guess I have to wait and see.
Stay away from things.
Yeah, I'm not super sensitive about spoilers, so it didn't really bother me. But it stuck out in my mind. I was like, "Damn, I probably should have watched these a long time ago."
These movies are pretty old now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was Thor. So
yeah, it was a good movie, man. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to doing Captain America 100%.
Me too. Well, I guess that's about it, right?
Yeah, that's what we got, man.
Well, I'll talk to you next time. For Captain America, we'll be back here again.
Absolutely. We'll break it down.
Yeah. Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. Oh, that's right.